Did moving out of a former bingo hall in Philadelphia into somewhat of a regular arena and promoting this big 3 hour extravaganza knock them back over the top of 600,000 people this week?
Well, we have the ratings, and again, it's a special 3-hour block of Dynamite and Collision. Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, on TBS, 8 to 10:01, AEW Dynamite was watched on average by 667,000 viewers.
Oh, they made it.
AEW Collision, right after it, 10:01 to 11:06, 535,000 viewers.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that surprises me that they were able to keep that many people to hold on for that long through that show. So I'm not surprised they got over 600 for Dynamite, but over 500 for 10 to 11 after they'd already seen 2 hours of misery.
And again, I thought it was a bad show, so if you were tuning in for the first time in weeks and this is what you saw, I wonder what you think, but let's go to the quarter hours. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m., Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher's live promo, and the Jon Moxley Darby Allin video, 746,000 viewers.
And that is what? Well over 100,000 up from their previous start last week. And it's they haven't started with 700 something thousand for a number of weeks, have they?
It's been a while. It's been in the 600s, I think, recently, but...
So they got to jump on the competition.
Quarter 2, 8:15, 8:30 p.m., Roderick Strong versus Jon Moxley with picture-in-picture, 687,000 viewers.
Ouch, okay, and they're back to the pattern of they start with a bigger number and they lose more between the first and the second quarter. So there went 50, what is it, 46, 56, 59,000 people.
We go to quarter 3, 8:30, 8:45 p.m., the continuation of Strong versus Moxley, the MJF Mark Briscoe video, and an ad break, and Bobby Lashley versus Toa Liona with picture-in-picture, 673,000 viewers.
Okay, well, that's only 14,000. I guess that's not bad, but they got to stabilize this to really make their average now, don't they?
And by the way, MJF Mark Briscoe video, that's also the segment, I believe, where MJF and Tony Khan had their audio confrontation.
Yes, they had a little hype video for the match and then that thing that they did.
Well, we go to quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m., that thing they do. Bobby Lashley versus Toa Liona continued the post-match with MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Ricochet, and Bishop Khan, an ad break, and the Christian Cage and Cope and FTR entrances, 663,000 viewers.
Okay, well, they've slowed the descent. They lost the majority of what they've lost in the first 15 minutes, and then they've only lost another 24,000.
Well, Jim, it's time for the big 9 o'clock hour, quarter 5, 9 to 9:15 p.m. The continuation, or I guess the actual segment with Cope and Christian, FTR and Stokely, the Young Bucks backstage promo, and the Bucks versus Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson, 697,000 viewers.
Aha! So they picked up 34,000 at the top of the hour, but unfortunately, the top of the hour contained the Cucamonga Kids, so did they do what they do every time and kill the quarter hour after them?
We go now to the quarter hour after they started that segment, 9:15 and 9:30 p.m., quarter 6. The continuation of the Bucks versus Gunn and Robinson, with picture-in-picture, an ad break, the Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Aminata, Triangle of Madness backstage promo, 633,000 viewers.
Ouch! So they lost 64,000 and they've gone to the all-time show low. Thank you, Cucamonga Kids.
Well, Jim, we go to quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The Beast Mortos versus Mascara Dorada with picture-in-picture. And the post-match with Okada, Don Callis, and Takeshita, followed by an ad break. 618,000 viewers.
Boy, they've got a gift then that, do you think the thread hanging through the show that Kyle was going to hospitalize Paige kept the people through something like that? But why would you want to wait
I don't
all
think it
night
was
to
that.
see
Yeah, I don't think it was that.
why would you want to wait all night to see the heel put the babyface in the hospital?
But again, I thought Kyle was the babyface in that segment. It was a condescending heel being a prick for no reason. Jim, we go to quarter 8. I remind you, we have a 1 hour, 6 minute overrun. We go to quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m. Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander's ramp promo, and the start of Tekla versus Queen Aminata in a street fight. 624,000 viewers.
Holy shit, that's a gift. That's the strongest that they have ever done at the end of the show. They're only down 122,000 people, and they actually picked up from quarter 7, which never happens.
Well, Jim, we go now to technically quarter 1 of Collision, 10 to 10:15 p.m. The continuation of Tekla versus Aminata, and the post-match with the Triangle of Madness, Tony Storm and Chris Statlander, and the Death Riders, and Jamie Hayter. Yep, that's it. Then the Skyflight Adam Page backstage angle, and then Killswitch and Kip Sabian versus Jet Speed with picture-in-picture. 620,000 viewers.
Good God. Again, this Drek, they're keeping a consistent number. They've gone 633, 618, 624, 620. And as bad as I always want to point out when this show sucks, they've never kept a level number like that this late in a program for even shit that was better, and they've even shit that was worse. This is very surprising.
Well, we go to quarter 2 of Collision, 10:15 to 10:30 p.m. Killswitch and Kip Sabian versus Jet Speed continued. The Big Bill backstage promo, an ad break, and the Darby Allin conversation with Bryan Danielson. 552,000 viewers.
Now reality may be starting to set in, that it's getting late and this just goes on forever.
Quarter 3 of Rampage, 10:30 to 10:45 p.m. Riho versus Robin Renegade with picture-in-picture.
Oh, boy. Okay.
The post-match with Mercedes Moné, a recap, an ad break, the Death Riders Ops video, and the Don Callis ramp promo. 527,000 viewers.
Yeah, there's a limit to anybody's patience. So here we go.
Well, we go now to quarter 4 of Collision. I remind you, we have a 6-minute overrun. 10:40.
I can't believe they stayed above 500,000.
10:45 to 11 p.m. Top Flight versus Hechicero and Josh Alexander with picture-in-picture. 483,000 viewers. 6-minute overrun, including the wild post-match with the Don Callis family, Scorpio Sky, Jet Speed, the Young Bucks, and Bro Dito. 440,000 viewers.
Good Lord. Okay, and they ended up doing the thing they had promised at the start of the 3-hour block by putting Adam Page, well, if not in the hospital, laying him out. He couldn't walk out under his own power. But by that point, 306,000 of the people that saw the setup segment were not there to see the result of it.
It's a great build.
Even when they get a gift and they get Their regular 2-hour block would have gone from 746,000 to 624,000. That ain't bad for them. But they had to hang on way too long, like usual, and go from 624 to 440.
Well, that was AEW Dynamite, a special September to remember, the lead up to the big pay-per-view this weekend as we are recording. And we'll see what happens next week on this always rewarding show.